So you're showing up to work every single day, giving it absolutely everything you've got, only to be hit with incredibly unfair conditions. Maybe it's unpaid wages, maybe you're being denied basic rest breaks, or worse, you're facing outright workplace discrimination. And maybe you've looked around and realized, wait, it's actually not just me. My coworkers are dealing with the exact same mistreatment. Well, listen, we're going to dive right into this today, because you absolutely do not have to accept that as normal. More importantly, you have immense power to change it once you understand your legal options.
It really brings us to a pretty heavy question. Are you fighting your employer alone? Because when you're going up against a massive corporate entity, it is so easy to feel totally isolated, intimidated, and just completely powerless. Your employer has an entire HR department, they've got corporate lawyers, and deep, deep pockets. If you try to speak up by yourself, it can honestly feel like your voice is just a whisper in a hurricane. They seem to hold all the cards, right? It kind of makes you think that speaking out is just going to put a massive target on your own back.
But wait, here is a massive reality check for you. In 2021, there were exactly 3,865 charges of workplace discrimination filed with the EEOC in California alone. Just think about that. That is a staggering number. It completely proves that systemic workplace violations are incredibly common. If your boss is cutting corners on your paycheck or just conveniently turning a blind eye to harassment, they are almost certainly doing the exact same thing to the person sitting right next to you. You are not alone in this, and honestly, that shared experience, that's actually your greatest asset.
So the real question is how you actually use that shared experience. Well, enter the class action lawsuit. This is a remarkably powerful legal tool where a group of employees literally band together to sue a large employer for those widespread shared violations. Instead of one tiny whisper, your voice becomes an absolute roar. By joining forces and bringing in a dedicated class action lawyer, you instantly level the playing field against a multi-million-dollar company.
Okay, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's picture a few scenarios. Imagine a warehouse where hundreds of workers are forced to just grind right through their meal breaks without a dime of pay. Or think of a corporate office where systemic sexual harassment is just constantly swept under the rug by management. Or maybe a factory where the employer is subtly altering the time clock to literally shave off overtime pay for the entire shift. These aren't just isolated oopsies, they are calculated business practices. And this is exactly the moment when a skilled employment class action attorney steps in to hold them accountable.
Look, suing your employer solo, that is incredibly intimidating. It's wildly expensive, it's exhausting, and if your individual damages are somewhat small, say just a few $100s in missed meal breaks, it might not even make financial sense for you to pursue it on your own. But in a class action lawsuit, literally everything changes. The massive costs, the risks, all that heavy lifting, it's entirely managed by your legal team. You get to share the strength of your coworkers, and your employment class action attorney handles the complex legal battle while you just focus on living your life.
Now, the legal journey itself might sound super daunting, but it actually follows a really clear 5-step path. First up, you start with a totally free consultation, where the firm actually listens to your story. Second, they certify the class with the court. Third, the attorneys do all the grueling work, gathering evidence, subpoenaing documents, bringing in experts. Fourth, they take that fight straight to trial or negotiate a tough settlement. And finally, step 5, they ensure the recovered funds are fairly distributed to you and your coworkers.
You're probably looking at step 2 and thinking, certifying the class? What on earth does that mean? Lawyers love to throw around intense jargon like numerosity and typicality, right? But let's put it in plain English. It simply means your lawyer is proving to a judge that you and your coworkers are all in the exact same boat. It's just showing the court that your employer harmed a huge group of you in the exact same way, so it makes total logical sense to resolve the whole issue together in one single incredibly powerful lawsuit.
So if that lawsuit is successful, the big question is, how do you actually get paid? Well, courts typically divide settlement money in 3 main ways. Sometimes it's what they call a common fund, where the total settlement is divided up using a specific formula, usually based on how many hours or weeks you worked. Other times, it's a submitted claim, where you literally just fill out a simple form to claim a predetermined amount of cash. Or it can be a pro rata split, which is really just a fancy legal way of saying an equal, even split among all the confirmed group members.
And we really need to talk about what kind of financial recovery we are actually looking at here. When a class action employment lawyer takes on your case, they aren't just looking to get you your job back. No, they are fighting for comprehensive damages. We're talking about all your lost wages, the benefits that were stolen right out from under you, compensation for the emotional distress of surviving in a toxic environment, and of course, all the attorney fees and court costs. The ultimate goal here is to make you totally whole again. And when I say these cases can be massive, I mean massive. $8 million. This isn't some hypothetical pie-in-the-sky figure. This is a real, concrete victory achieved by the incredible team at Bibiyan Law Group. When you're going up against absolute corporate giants, you absolutely need a firm that has a proven track record of securing massive settlements for everyday workers. To give you a little context on that $8 million win, this was actually an unpaid wages class action settlement recovered against a gigantic industrial packaging company. Just imagine the sheer resources a company like that has to fight back. But because the workers banded together, the legal team was able to cut right through those corporate defenses and secure an $8 million victory. They made absolutely sure those workers finally got paid for the hard work they had already put in.
But, financial justice isn't only about unpaid wages. Take a look at this other number to show you the sheer versatility of what a top-tier law firm can handle. $750,000. This $750,000 result, that came from a systemic sexual harassment case within the hospitality industry. It takes an immense amount of courage to stand up against workplace harassment, especially when it's just deeply ingrained in a company's culture. But this settlement proves for sure that a dedicated legal team can protect vulnerable workers, completely expose toxic corporate behavior, and secure real, substantial financial justice for the victims.
Honestly, though, don't just take the numbers as proof. Listen to former clients like Fiorella. She explicitly pointed out that she was turned down by other firms, but this team actually took her seriously, and they won. That right there is the fundamental difference a dedicated Los Angeles class action lawsuit lawyer can make for your case. The right team won't just look at you as a file folder. They will listen to you, they'll take your situation seriously when others absolutely won't, and they'll fight relentlessly until they win.
And that brings us right to Bibiyan Law Group. If you are going to take on your employer, this is absolutely the trusted guide you want in your corner. They recover millions for employees every single year. You get the incredible firepower of a 20-person team of dedicated employment attorneys. They never represent the corporations. Literally, their exclusive focus is defending employee rights. And with a founder educated at a top 3 ranked law school, you're getting elite, top-tier legal strategy brought straight to the front lines of your workplace dispute.
So, I want to leave you with this final, really critical thought today. Are you going to let the unfair treatment, the stolen wages, and the systemic harassment just continue in the shadows? Or will you and your coworkers stand together, tap into the immense power of a class action lawsuit, and finally hold your employer accountable? The tools are right there. The expert legal help is ready and waiting for you at Bibiyan Law Group. The next move? Well, that's entirely yours.